Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on my show. I'm Armando F. Sanchez. I'll be your host today, and we have a guest today from Alberta, Canada. To be more precise, he is from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada, and his name is Terry Fikowski. I had the pleasure and the honor of meeting him on a cruise ship when we were going on West Africa, and to be more precise, in Namibia, in the country of Namibia in Africa. And we went on a tour together. We started talking, and it was just a real honor. We laughed a lot, and thank you for that beer. Appreciate it. But as I learned more about his background, something very surprising came to surface, and I asked him to be a part of the show because I wanted to share it with the community here in the United States. I mean, the Canadians shared the story locally and nationally, but I like to bring the story down here. I was very moved. I was very motivated by his words, and that's what we want to get to today, and we'll share more about it. Terry, thank you for being on my program.
Totally my pleasure, Armando. Thank you.
Terry, you did something very special, especially during the pandemic period of time. You came up with this idea and you pulled it off and you did some walking. I'm putting this mildly, but I'm going to sort of set the stage for you. Tell us what happened. Tell us, what inspired you during the time of the pandemic and then what you proceeded to do.
Well, the idea of all the walking I did is actually my wife's idea. But what happened was in 2020, we were on a cruise, it's just like you said around, but we were on the east coast of Africa this time, not the west coast. Our cruise got changed many times because of COVID, and we ended up coming home on March 20th. And that was right in Canada, particularly just at the very beginning when COVID was starting. And all of a sudden there was virtually not much going on. Most places were closed and there wasn't a lot
Right.
to do.
Right.
Over the years, I've always been one to exercise. I used to jog and that sort of thing every day. And I came home and I stopped jogging, I guess maybe because of my age a few years earlier, but I was walking and I usually had a routine path that I would take. But I thought, I'll wander and see a few other things. And I'd come home and talk to my wife, Diane, and tell her where I'd been. And she's, oh, okay. She says, well, why don't you mark it on a map, like where you've been? So you do a different area and see different things. Not a bad idea. So I started doing that. We live in sort of one end of Sherwood Park in a corner. And I never drove anywhere for a long time. And I walked. And I started marking with a highlighter on the map of Sherwood Park. Sherwood Park is about an 80,000 population community. It's not large, a newer community, but has industry and warehouses and stuff as well. But so I started walking. And then it sort of became, whoa, wow, that's interesting. Sherwood Park is bigger than I thought. And and I would walk every day, some days, in fact, 4, 5, 6 hours straight walking, not stopping. That was because when I had to go to the furthest part of Sherwood Park, I had to walk there and I had to walk back as well. So, and I went through rain, you name it, but it became a lot of fun, and I learned so much about our community that we've actually lived in Sherwood Park since '71, so that's a long time, I think, for in one spot. And the community is growing around us, and I thought I knew the community, but no, I learned so much. Met so many nice people on my walks. I walked through all the condo projects in their areas. I walked through the industrial areas. I walked through the the office areas, you name it, commercial areas, back alleys. There wasn't one foot of sidewalk or whatever in Sherwood Park that I didn't cover.
I'm in California, Southern California, to be more precise. And when you're talking about walking in the winter months in Alberta, Canada, in your area, we're talking about what kind of degrees during the day?
You don't want to know. Well,
I really don't want
I
to
would,
know. Again, I'm from
okay.
California.
I was just
Just
walking.
telling me for you, look at me. I'm in jackets, just trying to think about it. That's why I'm wearing it. You're bringing all these memories to mind.
Right, right. Well, I was just actually walking today. I was out for an hour and a half walk, and I think it's minus 16, minus 18. So in Fahrenheit, probably -5 or 6 Fahrenheit, 6 or 8. I don't know, something that we've gotten used to Celsius. But around that, and it's cool for sure.
So, did you ever have a day you said, "No, it's too cold to go walking today," or actually dangerous to go walking because of the amount of cold?
Well, I would say I would answer that with yes, or at least very short walks, because the problem is when it's cold, it's the wind. It's not so much the temperature, but it's the wind. So, but what I did most of I covered most of my territory in summertime, and in fact in June, and one day I did about 40,000 steps. So that that I did a lot, and but most of my walking was in 2020 when I did the big amounts of walking. That was mostly through the summer months.
Give us, this is the real core part of the story here. It's not so much that you walked, it's the amount of walking that you did. Could you tell us how much walking you did and how you know you did that much walking?
Oh well, I have this little device on my arm called a Fitbit, and it tracks all your steps and tells you how many miles you've taken and whatever. And in 2020, I did 5,937,000 steps, which is what about averaging not quite 20,000 steps a day. I figured out that I walked, I think, from Sherwood Park to Atlanta, Georgia, in 2020. I think 3,800, 3,200 miles or something like that. I don't know, something like that.
Something like that, something like that. 3,200 miles. So I'm assuming you're still walking, so hopefully you're starting to walk back from Atlanta back home.
Hey, it'd be a good time to be in Atlanta right now rather than
Yeah, with your weather, yes, you know.
yeah.
And the thing is, I see pictures of you. Send me a couple of pictures of you walking and a video where you're walking in the snow. You're wearing this huge parka. And I thought to myself, oh my God, you must have been cold back then. And then you tell me, no, 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 this was like last week. I thought, oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's fun. It's nice to get out. It's really nice and fresh, and I don't know. I enjoy walking, and part of really the big part of it is I like to eat. I like to have a drink now and then, and if I didn't do a lot of exercise, I'm afraid of what weight I might be. So, and actually during my walking, I lost 30 pounds, and I was down to my university age weight, which was pretty amazing actually. And walking. Surprising, maybe I don't know a lot of people know this, but walking is a very, very good exercise. You do not have to work out at the gym or whatever. If you do a lot of walking, it's going to be very healthy for you.
By a lot of walking, you mean like how long? Half an hour, an hour? It doesn't matter whether you fast or slow. I don't know.
Armando, I don't know. I think it's it grows on you. So I would say go for a half an hour walk. You'll find you enjoy it at least, and it grows. And plus, it's nice to walk in different areas to see things that you would never you don't even know that. Like I said, we live in here since 71. So what's that? 29, 49, 40, 50 years. And I thought I knew our community, but I had no idea. I learned a lot, and it was a pleasure.
There's a segment in the movie Forrest Gump where he starts running. He gets into this idea of running. He starts running across the United States back and forth. And pretty soon he's joined by other people, joining him and back and forth, until he's in the middle of, I guess, the Arizona desert. He says, I don't want to run anymore. These people don't know what to do
Yeah.
now. But thinking along those lines, did you find yourself people joining you in the walks?
No, but interesting because it became sort of a news story because in 2020 there was no, it was all negative. Oh, I'm exaggerating by saying all, but
Oh, it was the middle
virtually
of
all
COVID.
negative. Yeah. And as I was walking, I would meet a lot of people that have recognized me and stop and chatted. And so I met a lot of people. I found out why different subdivisions were called such and such. And it was amazing. I had a lot of fun. And as I was walking, I'd have people beep beep on the horn and wave when they go by, and I went, "Whoa, well, that's pretty neat." So I don't know. I became known as the Sherwood Park Walker.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that someone picked up on your story that you were doing this and hit the local news, and then it started to evolve from there, and you gain a notoriety on the positive side.
Yeah, it's crazy. Our local newspaper did a story prompting from all my buddies when I was doing this walking. You should let the paper know what you're doing. Okay, so I did. Well, then a radio station picked up on it, and then a local TV station picked up on it. And in the end, I even had CTV and national coverage, national news right across Canada. And I was getting phone calls from people I knew from different areas in Canada. Hey, I saw you on TV, and it's sort of bizarre, but it was fun. And when it was all over, the museum here in Sherwood Park gave me a call and said, "Hey, we'd like to have your sneakers. Could we get your sneakers in your map?" So I guess my stuff is in the museum. I haven't seen it there, but I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Now that I think about it, I'm sort of sorry I didn't get your autograph when we were out there in Namibia.
Oh, sure. Yeah, right. Oh, they're lined up for my autograph, all
Oh
right.
well, at least I have a picture of you, which actually we will post a picture of you with you, so I can say I know this famous person in
Oh,
Canada.
yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Thanks, Armando. Yeah, exactly.
Now, were you a walker before the pandemic hit and you started doing this?
I was a swimmer for a long time, noon hours during when I worked downtown. I'd go at noon and go swimming. And then I developed an allergy to the chlorine in the pool. Then I started jogging. Then I started walking. And, no, it's something, well, basically, my doctor said, "Hey, you got to do some exercise. You got to do something." And because I had an office job, and it grows on you for I don't know. I enjoy doing it, and it gives you a lot of free time to think about things, look around, talk to people. Who knows what you're going to find out?
From your walking from 2020 during the pandemic to now, how many miles have you done
Oh my!
together?
Right now, like 365 days a year, I'll average at least 12,000 steps a day. So, I mean, some days I wouldn't do that, but other days I would, 15 or 20,000, 2,200 steps a mile, something like that. So I still do a lot of walking, not nearly as like in 2020. I outdid myself, that's for sure. But I had nothing else to do. I basically didn't drive my car most of the time because there was no place to go anyway. But no, I still walk like doctor's appointments or coffee or whatever. Yeah, I go out for breakfast with somebody. I still walk.
I imagine your blood pressure is very good.
It is good. Yep, it's healthy. Yep.
Give me a couple of examples, some two things. I mean, I'm sure you have tons of memories when you were doing this during the pandemic period, but give me a couple of things that stand out in your mind if something comes to the surface right now.
I didn't know, for example, that we have some homeless people in Sherwood Park. I did not know that. I walked through an area which totally surprised me. We have a lot of oil industry here in our county where we live. Just no, I think learning so much about your community. It was one of the big things that The biggest surprise was that I thought I knew where I lived. It turned out I learned a lot. I didn't know much about where we lived at all.
So your advice would be to others who say, I need some exercise, but I'm not sure what to do. It sounds to me like he says, basically just get up and start walking.
I don't know how you could go wrong. It's not, it doesn't cost anything to do. If you have some free time rather than sitting watching a TV program or whatever, I mean, sure, you got to do that, maybe at nighttime or something. But if it, especially if it's a nice day or whatever, like go for a walk. My goodness, the fresh air and the exercise, it's hard to beat. I mean, uh, yeah, of course, I'm sold. I sold myself, but it wasn't it wasn't something that I always did, but it like I said, I think it grows on you. I think once you start, oh, you go for a half an hour or whatever, not gee whiz, and then maybe you stretch it a little bit. Oh, I haven't been here. Why don't I go over there? It's just it grows on you.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show, but I do have one final question, and this one also is a little bit of a head scratcher. How many pair of shoes did you go through, or have you gone through up to now with all your walking?
Well, during 2020, I went through three pairs of, we call them runners, sneakers, right?
Well, now I have a task for myself. If we ever happen to be in Alberta, Canada, now I know where to go, and just specifically to go see your shoes there.
No, you're going to come and see me. Never mind my shoes.
Okay, you take me to see the shoes.
Okay, okay.
Oh, that's fantastic. Closing statements and talk to those people, like you say, follow in your footsteps. What are your words to them?
Oh, wow, Armando. I think people don't realize that to get exercise that they need or should have, that walking is a very easy, economic, efficient way to get your exercise and keep healthy. And while you're doing that, you're meeting people, you're seeing new areas, you're getting fresh air, your blood pressure, your weight, and then you can come home and have a drink or whatever and not feel bad about it. I mean, it's what it becomes is a habit. I think it's a good thing because it's a healthy thing to do.
And you sound also very happy.
Oh,
When I met you the last time, over in Namibia and now, you've always had that grin on your face. You seem relaxed. You seem
well,
psychologically composed. I'm not asking your wife if this is true, but I'm just taking the assumption, but you seem
no,
to be it relaxed you.
it, Armando, that's a good point. You're walking, and it's nice. You have time to think, relax, enjoy nature. Yeah, it really. When you said about stress, I guess I have stress, but I don't feel like I do because it's gone. And I that's a good point. I think relieving stress because you're just walking and you can think about whatever and it's gone. It's perfect. It's the thing to do. I'm sold.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Terry Fikowski, who is a very dedicated walker, and I'm glad that the pandemic motivated you to take out your frustrations and the sort of the cabin fever feeling at that time, through your walking. And at the same time, you created a positive sense for yourself and all of us who are hearing the story, we ask ourselves, why don't we do it also? So that's really something that genuinely I want to thank you for that as well. So thank you for being on the program, Terry.
Totally my pleasure. Thanks, Armando.